Elsie Sun here, and thank you so much for taking an opportunity to join us at the Right Women Book Fest. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about my book series, the Beautiful Nightmare book series. But before we get started, thank you for coming and visiting with me today. You may be visiting me on Facebook. Hello. You may be visiting me on my website at www.lcsunbooks.com, or you could be visiting me on my YouTube channel. However you found me today, via the Right Women Book Fest or for my own Facebook channel, thank you so much for coming and sharing with me today. I just wanted to take an opportunity to talk a little bit about my book series, the Beautiful Nightmare book series, and hopefully you'll get an opportunity to come and read some of my books. Listen, I have so much to share with you, and I hope that you're excited too. So first, I want to talk to you about the series starter, and then we're going to go on and talk about a few other things. But first, a little introduction about me. My name is Elsie Sun. I reside just outside of the nation's capital in Maryland with my loving husband of 21 years and our 3 children and a very, very regal beagle. So our life is very full and very fun and very, very busy. But enough about me. Let's get into this book. So this book series is a paranormal fantasy book series, and it includes all the things that you would normally see in a paranormal romance, such as romance, love triangles, vampires, wolves, all those types of things. And so the first book in the series is called Beautiful Nightmare, and I'm going to share that with you. Beautiful Nightmare. So before I start talking about Beautiful Nightmare, I do want to let you know that there is a discount for anyone attending the Right Women Book Fest, or if you found me here today via Facebook, YouTube, or on my website, you can actually get any of my full-length books signed by me for only $15. So wherever you find yourself, you can get them for $15. Now, unfortunately, this gift only applies to those in the United States and Canada, but if you're outside of the United States, you can also visit me at www.lcsunbooks and go to my bookshop, and you can get 20% off with the code that you'll see posted in the link. So use that code. You may see the code in the comments, and you can use that code, and that code will allow you to be able to purchase my books for 20% off. Now, it'll be internationally shipped to you, but it won't be signed. But for all of you in the US and Canada, you can get a signed copy for only $15. Let me tell you, you see how thick this one is? This is a thickie. So let's start right now. So this is Beautiful Nightmare. Cover, beautiful cover. I have a wonderful designer who's designed the entire Beautiful Nightmare series, and so shout out to RM Graphics. So Beautiful Nightmare is about a woman named Damina Nakad. She lives in Washington, D.C., and she's engaged to a man named Jackson. And her heart gets broken on the eve of their wedding. And at the eve of their wedding, she decides to leave and go to New Orleans to just kind of get her mind together because of her heartbreak. While she's in New Orleans, she discovers that she's more than human. And she meets a man named Dalcor. And I don't want to give away the entire part of the book, but I can tell you there are some people who are hardcore Team Jackson, some people who are hardcore Team Dalcor. And let me tell you, you are equally right to be Team Jackson or Team Dalcor. I'll be honest with you right now, I don't think you can go wrong. One of the things I love about this book is because it involves and includes everything that you love, I think, in a paranormal romance. It's got the love triangle, it's got the vampires, it's got the wolves, it's got the shifters, but it comes across in the beginning as a contemporary romance. So just hold on for a little while. It starts as a contemporary romance. It is a slow burn, but it builds into a lot of action, a lot of thriller, even some intense, scary moments. And I would say as far as a rating on a Steam scale, this is more everything's alluded to, but we don't go into detail, right? So I'm just letting you know. So if you're looking for hot, heavy steam, it's not gonna be hot, heavy steam, but it does get there, it gets close. But you can get this book from me, signed by me, for only $15. this week only if you go to my website and purchase it. So you'll see the link in my website and you can go ahead and you can get the $15, and you have to make sure that you purchase it through my website, and that's where it'll be. But this is Beautiful Nightmare. This is book 1 in the series starter. I will tell you one thing about the Beautiful Nightmare series is that it has created and opened for me an entire world of different characters. There are so many characters that started off as side characters and now they've become beloved characters. They have books and stories and short stories of their own, and we're going to talk a little bit about it now. So, as I mentioned, Beautiful Nightmare is book 1. Now, as I was writing book 2, I realized I wanted the voices of both Jackson and Dalcor to really come out. I wanted there to be an opportunity for us to hear from Jackson and Dalcor. Book 1 is written solely in Damina's POV. It's written solely in Damina's POV. So we really only understand a lot of what's happening in the book from Damina's perspective. So the second book, which is more like a companion novella instead of really a book 2, it's like book 1.5, is Hearts Eclipsed. Hearts Eclipsed. This is a companion novella. As you can see, it's much smaller, in comparison, much smaller than Beautiful Nightmare. But Hearts Eclipsed is told in dual POV from both Jackson and Dalcor's point of view. And it opens with Jackson's point of view when he's sharing a moment with Damina and how he feels about her. So we get an opportunity to learn a lot more about who Jackson is, where he falls in the supernatural, as I call it, the supernatural regency of things. We get to learn a lot about him, but we also get to learn a lot about Dalcor Marchand, the alluring man from Louisiana. That's all I'll say. I won't say exactly who or what he is, and you'll have to read the book to figure that out. But when you learn about Jackson and Dalcor from this book, it gives you a better idea of who these men are contextually as they're dealing with Damina. Because some people, of course, when you're looking at it from Damina's perspective, you have very strong points of view about which one you like. But when you get to read Hearts Eclipsed, I think you can potentially walk away with a different feeling about one of the characters or the other. Or you still may walk out and think, you know what, I still am Team Jackson or I'm still Team Dalcor. Whatever you do, this is the tagline calls it Hearts Eclipsed is a beautiful nightmare companion novella that chronicles the tale of two suitors escaping deeper into the beautiful nightmare world, and as the downfall of Damina Nakad's love to one man unfolds and the rising of another is unleashed. Narrated by both Jackson Nash and Dalcor Marchand, see the story unfold beyond the veil of Damina's dreamscape, far from her eyes. So it says one woman, two men, and three hearts. This is Hearts Eclipsed. I love this book. This is actually one of my favorite books in the Beautiful Nightmare series. And I think it's my favorite because we get to hear from them. And it was actually very cool for me as the author trying to create a very masculine sound and create it from their voice. So that was actually very, very cool. Book 2 in the Beautiful Nightmare world, the official book 2, is Awaken. How lovely is this cover? This cover is amazing. Beautiful Nightmare book 2 is called Awaken, and this is Damina's awakening into the supernatural world. Now we're past book 1. We, as the reader, understand a little bit more about what's going on in the world of Dalcor and Jackson as it relates to Damina and how they feel about her. And now Damina is awakening with new eyes and she's seeing things differently. You know, it's like, I'm seeing things plainer now. I'm seeing a little bit more about this supernatural world that I never intended to see before. Some things she's happy about, some things she's not so happy about. And so she's still, this picks up right where Beautiful Nightmare book 1 leaves. So we pick right up from there. There's no time lapse in between, but we get an opportunity to see how she's grown, how she's matured, her relationship between Dalcor and Jackson. And I will say this, she does make a choice in book 2. She makes a choice in book 2. However, I am the cliffhanger queen. So there is a book 3 coming, and we get to learn a little bit more about the decision that she made and whether or not she's going to stick with that decision or what happens because she made that decision. And I do not have any details about when book 3 is coming, but just hold tight and we'll keep going from there. But at the end of book 2, you get a little kind of an epilogue, not an epilogue, but a little reveal that there's another book coming soon. And her cousin, Dakari, has a book coming, and it's called Breaking Curses. So that's kind of a nice little reveal that's plugged in at the back of book 2. But again, you can get this book for only $15, and it'll be a signed copy from me. Now, I spent a lot of time writing paranormal romance. If you go to my website or look at any of my books that are on any of my publishings on Amazon, you'll see that there are also short stories. And in those short stories, there are 3. The first one is called With Hearts Like Fire. With Hearts Like Fire talks about Dalcor's brother, DeCoste, and how he is connected to the series. And we find out in book 2 that he is very connected in the series. We also find in Heart's Eclipse that DeCoste, Marchand, has a lot going on with him. Now, one of the things that I've loved doing in this particular book series is that I've had the wonderful opportunity to kind of expand into the different genres and facets. So for example, with Hearts Like Fire being a short story, I was able to delve into historical fiction. So this picks up in the year 1808, and it picks up in the year, 1788. And it deals with the Great Fire of New Orleans of 1788. And so we kind of take that little historical context, build some fiction around it, some paranormal fiction, some dark fantasy fiction, and build this story about DeCoste Marchand and how it impacts the world that Demena finds herself in Beautiful Nightmare. So it's a really, really nice little read, especially right now if you're looking for something quick and short, you just want to kind of learn a little bit about my writing style or also about the characters. With Hearts Like Fire is a great place to start. But if you also want to kind of pull it to the present day, you want to also read With Clipped Wings of Butterflies. This story is actually told from Demena's aunt's perspective. We get a little bit of insight of who Demena's aunt was when she was about Demena's age and some of the struggles she endured and how those struggles that she had when she was young, how they actually impact her in her relationship with her daughter, who is Dakari, who I just mentioned has a book coming of her own, and also how some of Demena's Aunt Delia's life also impacts Demena now in her relationships with Dalcor and going forward even with Jackson. So I really, really like With Clipped Wings of Butterflies. Now, that's more of a very modern romance story, kind of a, coming of age type of story. But then I decided to flex the writing muscles a little bit more. And then we started dealing with I Am No Witch. I Am No Witch is a YA fantasy set in high school. And this one tells of a story of a girl named Theodra Marshall. And she discovers that she's a little bit more than human too, but she finds that out after losing her parents, being an orphan, and then finally coming to a place where she's actually crushing on a guy for the first time. And now you find out that you have a little bit of supernatural powers. Well, I Am No Witch is gonna pick up again, and it's gonna fold into a whole new world that I'm building right now. So I'm really excited about where this is going and how I'm able to stretch and dip myself into different parts of the fantasy world. And one of the things I like about it is because it gives me an opportunity to stretch these muscles, but it creates an entire world. And I feel as an author that a world does expand beyond just the paranormal romance or just beyond the historical, but there's also comedy and there's also going to be cozy mysteries and all types of things that I want to do with this world. So just buckle up, we're gonna have a lot of fun. But as I mentioned, this did stretch me, and stretching me it did. So I decided to put a book together that deals with the villain of the Beautiful Nightmare world. Well, at least one of the villains. And she is a lovely villain to behold. This is my newest release. The name of this book is called Untamed, and it released July 27th of this year. Listen, It's October now. You're looking for that cozy, dark fantasy romance. This is it. I can tell you, you can read this book independent of Beautiful Nightmare. You don't ever have to read Beautiful Nightmare to read this book. But I can tell you, if you are a fan of Beautiful Nightmare or you have read the books, you're gonna really appreciate Untamed. Untamed is a story of a girl named Chartreuse Grenoble who has been impacted from what happened to her family in the fires of 1788. She is connected to Decaux Marchand, and her family was impacted by his actions during the Great Fire of 1788. Because of his actions, Dalcour had to rescue Chartreuse and her family, and he rescues her again in 1808 when she's an adult. And he helps her make a decision on how to protect herself. And she feels the only way to do that is to succumb to some of her darker urges in order to protect herself. Now, I will warn you, this book has triggers. If the topics of misogyny, abuse, rape, or racism offend you in any way, please don't. I don't want to hurt you with this book. So again, I do want to warn you, there are triggers. I will tell you that the majority of the triggers are right there in the first and second chapters. If you can get past that and you feel comfortable enough with going forward, then by all means do so. But I do understand if you're not able to. But for those of you who don't have any of the sensitivities that I mentioned before, this is the dark romance. This is the dark fantasy book that you are waiting to read. I really enjoyed writing this book and delving deeper into the dark mind of Chartreuse Grenoble. She is a pickle all her own, and I'm telling you, you're going to really enjoy learning more about Chartreuse Grenoble. But I spend a lot of time in the dark mind of a villain. So right now, we're working on the final touches of One Winter's Kiss. One Winter's Kiss is coming out soon. If you look on my website or check on my Facebook page, you'll see the beautiful cover that was put together by One Winter's Kiss. And it is a fairy tale-ish type of romance, also set in the Beautiful Nightmare world. Deals with a young woman named Winter and a person named Wolf, named Lux, and how a person named Wolf, and how they meet up. And this is a straight Insta romance. It has all of the sweet romance that you want, has some steam to it, but not erotic, of course. And it's just a sweet story. After spending some time with the villain, I needed to spend some time in the sweet world of One Winter's Kiss. And that's going to debut in December of this year. So I'm really excited about it. I had hopes to do it last year in 2020, but 2020 was 2020. So it wasn't able to get done, but I'm excited about it coming out now, and it couldn't come at a better time because it's really helping to expand and grow the world of the Beautiful Nightmare universe. Well, that's all I have. I hope you've enjoyed learning about my books. Please make sure that you go to my website at www.lcsunbooks.com. Make sure that you can get a copy of any of my signed books for only $15 each for US and Canada citizens, residents. And if you're international, go to my bookshop online and you can put in the code in the comments to get the 20% off discount. Again, thank you so much for attending. I hope you have a wonderful time at the Right Women Book Fest. Enjoy it, have fun, be safe out there, be kind to each other, and keep reading. Take care. I'm Elsie Sun, and talk to you soon. Bye.